Yoav is angry at him that he's crying that his son was killed. But okay, that aside, no one. That's it. Goes back. The story's over. Anyway. Why?
He took him to Kamalei. He told him to tell Shlomo Melech to punish him later. Way passed away.
For Yoav, but not for killing Avshalom. Not for killing Avshalom.
When you have it, okay? The Rabbi do so you can.
Okay. So let's look in the story of David HaMelech, this part that's negay to us. Oh, I'm sorry. So one more thing that's a background to this story is that there's a story of Amnon and Tamar. There is that Amnon convinces his father to send a sister to serve him. He makes believe he's sick, and he was ma'anis his sister in a terrible way, and then he kicks her out of his house. And Avshalom and Tamar have the same mother. So Avshalom is really angry at Amnon for what he did to his sister. And then again, it's like everything ends up being David HaMelech's fault. He convinces David HaMelech to send his brothers with him on a trip. And then he goes and he gets his people to kill his brother, to kill Amnon. After he kills Amnon, he runs away to his grandfather, who is a goy, his mother's father, the king of Goshur. And he runs away. He's there for a few years. And Yoav feels that David HaMelech would love to have his son back, but he doesn't know what to do. So Yoav decides to set up a woman that she should come to the king as if she has some mishpat to do. And this is all a setup. It's not true. And then that David HaMelech should later understand that it's the right thing for him to bring back his son. He brought back his son, but he had no nachas from bringing back that son. Because when Avshalom came back, he later made this revolt against his father. Okay. Vayeda Yoav ben Tzeruya ki leiv HaMelech al Avshalom. Vayishlach Yoav tekoya vayikich misham isha chachama v'hemer alao isablina v'livshina bigdei evel val tasuchi shemen v'yisa ki isha zayom emrabim esabelas almeis. Make believe that you're in Avelis. You should come to the king. And he tells her a whole scenario. And Mefarshim say that she was a smart woman, so he didn't have to tell her every little detail of what to say because he didn't know what the king is going to say. But he told her to cook up a story and try to make sort of a point to David HaMelech to tell him that it's time to bring your son back to the kingdom. So the woman from Tekoya, Chazal say Tekoya is a place of a lot of Shem and Zayis. So the people are there are smart because they have a lot of Shem and Zayis from Tekoya. So the woman comes, Vatipal al Aper Arzo, she falls on her face, Vatishtok, and she bows, Vatoimer Heshia HaMelech, King, save me. Okay, the king says, Maloch, what is it? We see that expression David HaMelech says many times. Maloch, what's the matter? She said, Aval Isha Almona, Oni, Vayomas Ishi. I'm an Almona, my husband died. Ulishiv Chascha Shtei Bonim. And your maidservant has two sons. Vayanotzu Shneim Basoda, they both had a battle in the field. They had an argument in the field. Vaymatzel Benem, there was no one in between them to save them. And one of the boys hit the other one and killed him. The whole family stood up against your maidservant. And they said, give us the boy who killed his brother. We want to kill him.
Who were these people again?
The Goyele Adam. They were the relatives.
Who is she again?
She claims that she has a husband that died and two sons. And
she tried to trick them.
Yeah, it's all a trick. It's not true. No sons, no nothing.
Yeah.
And she says Reuben killed Shimon, and now the family wants the killer in order to kill him.
And Yoav put her up to this because
later the king is going to have Rachmanos on the woman and say, no, they shouldn't kill you. It's the only son you have. they shouldn't kill the son.
Same thing should
And
be
that's going to be.
And then she's going to say the same thing as to you, that you should have Rechumanas on your son Avshalom.
So Yoav wanted Avshalom to live.
Yeah,
Yoav.
yeah.
Why?
People make mistakes. Yoav thought
Oh,
that
so
that's...
Chazal say Yoav made a mistake.
I know Chazal don't say it. I'm
Oh.
saying it.
He was a Blial. He was a Ramoy of Malchus and a Blial.
Well, he tried
He
to
was
do
also
the
Ben
right
Sayer
thing.
Murray, wasn't he?
Well,
Why would
Yoav
was a
tried to
Patam
do...
Chacham. He was a coin, right?
Right, Yoav...
Why would he want to rehabilitate a Russian? Who was only
Because
who tried to split the Malchus?
No, because he didn't know that. He saw that David the Melech was conflicted about it.
So he
He
just
thought that
was
this
loyal
was-
to David,
he
and he
was
wanted
loyal.
to do whatever David he could
Yeah,
do.
yeah, he was definitely loyal to
That's what
David.
he wanted.
I'm sure he was.
He was loyal. He was just... He thought that will heal the pains of David. David was very pained about the whole story. He thought that this will bring closure to the whole thing.
Did David realize that it was a trick afterwards?
Yeah, yeah. He realized it.
But Avshalom wasn't in any
No,
time
he
of
said the same
danger,
thing
was
to
he?
his son, so
Shalom was not in danger. It's just that the Mephoshim all say Vayeda Yoav ben Tzuri Keleva Melech al Avshalom means that he knew he was very conflicted. He thought that if they bring Avshalom back and the king, which at the end of the Pedic finally he comes back and the king kisses him, and so he'll bring closure to the whole story. But the problem was that it, instead of bringing closure, it opened up a whole new chapter.
And the worms.
But isn't this also somebody that tried to trick the king?
Well, you see, he did it in such a smart way that the king laughed at the end, and he didn't take it in a bad way. Yeah,
Maybe then this woman even got into him.
it's just
Rabbi Groner, Klein, and what's his name? Mendel.
No, that's not a shayla how the woman got there, because it seems that Malchi Yisrael, Chazal say
Available.
done right. They were always available to do mishpat. It seems to me poshet, because based on what Mephoshim say and Rishonim, that there was two types of systems always. There was the Sanhedrin, which is Bezdin, and then there was Din HaMelech. David HaMelech had a choice. Sometimes he could choose to paskin based on the Hilchas HaTorah, or some, it was a special case, Din HaMelech.
Lahabla, presidential, what do they call it?
Yeah, exactly. Presidential pardon.
Executive order, right?
Right, executive order.
Maybe this is not
Yeah,
the
the
good-
special.
He made fun
Maybe
of
it's not the Gator
Obama,
doing,
but
but
he did.
I saw him Brooklyn the other day where he was
5 times more than Obama.
doing, it was
Yeah?
like being robbed for the women.
Right, exactly.
Way more.
So that
What's he
also.
doing? Why?
Why? He was very available. Exactly, it's true. Women used to ask him Sheilos and Nida too. He was available to ask Sheilos. So that's not a pella that the woman was able to get to him. But the pella is how she did it in a wise way, and the king accepted her words. So back to Pasuk Zayin. V'hinei kama kol mishpacha, the whole family stood up. Al shifchoscha, on your maidservant. V'yomer, and they said, Pnias maka ochav v'nimiseyu b'nefesh ochav. Give us the killer. Reuben killed Shimon. We want to kill the killer. Asher harag v'nashmida gam es hayodesh, and we're going to wipe away the yodesh. The kibuz gachalosi. They are going to extinguish my candle, because if she has a son, her candle lives on. Ner Hashem nishmas adam. But if her only son dies, and her husband does, so it's as if her candle is extinguished. There will be nothing left for my family on the face of this earth. She weaves into the words of those people like nasty things. She puts thoughts into David HaMelech's head, like Mephoshim say. She's saying, and the subtext of what she's saying is that these are greedy people. They're not really out for the blood. My husband has a big estate. If they're going to kill the only Yerdish, they get the estate. They're not out to avenge the blood, they're out to get money. But she doesn't say that. But she's just like very edel. She's saying, but she weaves it in the words. Tzni lonu haYerdish. In other words, there's a Yerusha here in their mind. And she weaves it into their words.
Why would she prevail? She's the Irish. There's no other.
But if she
Firstly, she's going to die eventually.
she's older.
She can
Women
sell
are
it
not Irish.
before
Huh?
she dies. She can sell it to a friend.
The wife
She
is
gets-
not yours.
Well, that's the main thing. The wife is not Yerdish.
No, but there's no other Irish that she gets. She
No,
Irish
she
her
doesn't.
husband's.
Only our minig is, it's a minig that we have today, that as long as the woman is alive, she sits in her husband's...
She's Eichel.
Yeah.
Oh, she can't sell it.
She can't do anything.
Who
She can't
owns it?
paint the walls of the house.
Then?
The Yoshim on it.
There are no Irish.
The brothers.
So if they're going to kill her son, they are going to own all her property.
Who are they?
Uncles.
The uncles.
They get it before the
Oh,
wife.
they're the Goyal Adam?
Yeah, they're
The
the
uncles of the Goyal Adam, she said that?
She didn't say who the
But
relatives
that's
are.
supposed to
but
be.
yeah. And but she weaves into their words that their intention is not pure.
Right.
The shul, that's what Meforshim say.
I'm asking a kasha on the Maisa because I was just saying that they're trying
That-
to...
No, but you want to understand the mindset. So the mindset.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. It was a good Baba
Taka, good
Masa.
Baba.
Well, she was Taka Baba, or she wanted to be a Baba.
David, maybe you could edit the Rav's tape. Rav, just give a sequel because he started in the middle with the tape, with the video. Can the Rav maybe just give a sequel?
We're holding now? We're on?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're not for 10 minutes.
So basically, let's recap. So the question
Moshe
was a
can do that.
doctor who sees that there is a patient that's being abused, Rahman al-Islam, by his son. And the question is that the father, the old man, begs the doctor not to report to the police because he doesn't want his son to go to jail because that's the only person that's taking care of him. Now, on the one hand, there's a Netziv says in this week's Parsha, that means that even if there's only one son and he has a father and mother, if he's caught hitting them, he has to be put to death and not to have rachmanas on the parents that no one will take care of them. On the other hand, we're looking now at the story in Tanakh, which seems to go against the pshat of the Netziv, that here is a woman to come to David the Melech. She cooks up a story, but still, this is what she says. She says that she has only 2 sons, and Reuven killed Shimon, and now the relatives want to kill Reuven, and she's upset because she wants to have at least a son that will stay alive and keep her candle alive, and the king rules in her favor, which is the next pasuk. Go home, and I will command that in your favor. The whole sin is going to fall on me, and you're going to be clean. In other words, she's saying, you're pushing me off. You're sending me home, you're going to give a command, but the bottom line is the relatives are going to come at night, they're going to break my door, and they're going to kill my son. So the king says, if someone talks to you, good or bad, about your son, bring him straight to me. And he will not be able to touch you.
Maybe it will be too late.
Exactly, that's what the woman says. This woman doesn't let go. That the king should remember the Eibishter, from allowing the Goyal Adam l'shachis to kill, to smite. And they shouldn't kill my son. So Vayomer, and the king says, okay, you know what? This is what I'm going to do. He makes a shua in Hashem's name that one hair will not fall off your son's head. In other words, David Melech says, I'm going to send guards. Don't worry. Don't worry. I'm going to take care of your son. I make a shvua in Hashem that I'm going to make sure that not one hair will fall from your son's head.
The Pelican, what I see.
Yeah.
Hey, imagine if every person lined up in Kleisel that needed to speak to him.
Right, so that's what someone was mentioning.
It's getting into a whole thing.
It's
like
Moshe Rabbeinu.
Novel TV.
Yeah.
Could you imagine any monarch in any time in history having high time for like this, for such stuff?
You must have seen that she had a
It was
high
like a
neshama.
rebel.
I mean, it wasn't...
No, but the Gemara says that David Melech bragged that his hands were bloody with Shaper V'Shalya. Women asked him Sheilos. So he could have gone to Bezdin. He could have gone to Bezdin. Bezdin could
sent her
answer.
to Bezdin.
Right, you could have sent her to Bezdin. No, but David Melech that's part of what David Melech was.
He made him make a shua shov, no?
It's not a shul shov. Why is it a
He
shul
swore
shov?
that nothing will happen to your son, but nothing was going to happen
It's
to
not
him.
shov. In his mind, no. It's not.
No, it's
Why
not.
it's not. Why is it shul shov?
Because it's not never happened.
No. We just learned the Rambam Melchus Shavuos. No. Shul shov is when a person knows. Isha. And the woman said to Dabar no shifchotzel adonai adover. He says you could speak. Isha v'lo mechashafta kazois. Now the woman is getting warming. Now trying to v'lo mechashafta kazois al amalekim. Umidaber amelech adover hazeh keoshim bilti hoshim amelech is nitchay. Why would the king think about the people that she's saying? Why would the king think that not to bring back someone who's been pushed away? Ki mois namus kamayim anigorim arza asher lo yosefu. At the end of life, everyone dies. It's like water that always is dragged downwards. No one, in other words, lo yisel akim nafesh. The Eibishter will never spare someone from death. Everyone is going to die. So so life is very precious. On the other hand, b'choshev machshav is the Eibush the thought. This is where the Rabbi said this pasuk maybe 1,000 times. Levilti yidach mimenu nudach. The Eibush had many machshavas that no Jew should ever get lost. What's the machshavas? In other words, Mepharshim say the Eibush made it very difficult for a person to get executed in Bezdin. Why? Because he can never bring back a life. And since so she's saying, even if a Zarachmal Atzlan is a killer, but if we can rehabilitate him, it's kedai, because the Eibush never wants any Jew to be lost. The Eibush is choshev machshavas lebilti yinach v'nidach, that no one should get lost. This is the powerful line that the Rebbe always used to say. Lo yidach v'nidach.
Sing that in many on Simchas Torah. It's a big song.
This is the pasuk.
Yeah.
It's just nice to see the context.
Yeah.
So basically, these are the words that the woman says to David HaMelech that he accepts. She says that the Eibishter puts in the Torah so many things that the Yid should not, because we don't want any Yid to be lost. Also, she's hinting that your son, Pashtus, Pashtus don't say it, but I think it's Parsha. Your son is now in a Goyish country, and he's being influenced by the Goyim. And why shouldn't we be Mekarev him? So he already killed his brother, but now that's done. Let's be Mekarev him. Let's bring him back.
Avshalom, who was the guy by Avshalom?
Avshalom, who killed his brother, now is living by his grandfather.
Who was his father? Who was his mother?
His mother was Miacha. Miacha was this daughter of a king of Goshur, which Mefarshim say is sort of north of Ramat Golan, which was a Goyish kingdom. And David HaMelech was fighting against them.
Was she a Yid?
No, she was the daughter of the king. He was Megayer. David was Megayer. So now Avshalom is by his grandfather, who is a Goyish king. So she's saying, bring him back, because the Eibusha doesn't want the Yid to be lost. That's why I'm saying Lebilti Yidach Men Nidach. When the Rebbe always used to say it, really, this is really the story. She's saying you're allowing your son to stay by his grandfather, who is a king of Goy, but the Eibusha doesn't want any Yid to be pushed away from Yiddishkeit. He wants every Yid to be brought back. You should know that the people made me scared, and they said, don't speak to the king your thoughts. But I said, I'm going to speak to the king. Maybe the king will do things based on what his maidservant will say. Because the king will listen to save his maidservant from the people. From wiping me and my son away. She's going back, Hilu, from the marshal to the nimshal, from the nimshal to the marshal. She's saying, I wasn't
going back to the story.
Yeah, as if there was a exactly.
By now, the Melech realized
exactly. Now she's flattering the king. She says the king is like an angel. And the Eibush is with you. Now at this point, the king realizes that she's bulbing a lot, and she's saying something. Please don't lie to me. I'm going to ask you a question. Please speak. And the Melech said, Hayad Yoyev Yitach? Is Yoyev is yeah? Bechol Zois with all this. Vatani Isha, and the woman says, I give a shvua in the life of Adonai Melech. Im Ish, if I'm going to turn, I'm going to go to the right, the left, I'm going to tell you the truth. Yes. Yoyev is the one that told me. Wow. He put it all into my mouth. That Yoyev did it, your servant, because he wanted to spin this whole thing. But my master is chochem kechochmas malach elakim, has the wisdom of an angel. Ladas is kol hashabaretz. You figured it out.
She spilled the beans.
Yeah.
He called it.
So the thing is that the Melech was impressed. Wow. So and that's what he did. Vayipol Yoyev al param arza, vayishtachu, vayvorach Melech, vayim Yoyev vayim yeida avdachu kimitzosi chen beinach Adonai Melech ashos Melech as avdachu vayokim Yoyev vayelach Yeshura vayoves Avshalom Yerushalayim. It's just a silly thing on the side. Sometimes when I used to think about Shalom Bayis, I mean, extended thing, families that have, or things that, there's not always an easy button to figure things out. Here is Yoav feels that David HaMelech is hurt, and who is he to tell the king what to do? So he cooks up a whole story, but he does it with dedication, that David HaMelech is impressed, and David HaMelech listens to the Musar that a woman gives him. Basically what's happening is that a woman is giving him Musar. How come your son is living by a goy and you're not bringing him back? But David HaMelech accepts it. Why? Because she did it in a smart way, and then he brings his son back. So the Meforshim say that Adak says that don't think from here we learn that you can get away with murder. He says that what happened was there was no Eidim and no Hasra in both cases. There was no Eidim and Hasra by Avshalom. And even though the Jews knew who did it, but in Bezdin he couldn't be killed. The same thing over here with Isha. She says that they were in the field. There was no one there. So the Radak says there was no Eidim and Hasra. So therefore Bezdin couldn't kill. There was not Shayach for Bezdin to kill. So the Goyal Adam only could kill if Yechem Lavava, but not if he's greedy and he wants to make the money. And that's what the woman was saying. So therefore, if tak in a case that there is that a person is maka ove ve'imoy, probably the Netziv is right. However, the Arevno says that he asked Rav Elyashiv. Rav Elyashiv said, even though you could argue one way or the other way, the fact is, if a person's maka ove ve'imoy, every hakoh is chayim misa. So you don't have to think about rachmanas about the father. You have to think rachmanas about the son. He's over an unbelievable isser. He says you have to call the police. And the police...
one time. He can't
okay, but the Chomer HaYisur is so big.
It gets worse and worse.
Yeah.
The one that he killed though was what he did to his sister?
Right. Well, again, there was no witnesses over there. So
he might have been
but
bad
here,
witness
the Rabbi
too,
Yasher
but,
said going forward, what's the difference what happened in the back? And there's no Eidim, no Asra. True, he's in the office, there was no Eidim. But it's going to... These people, when they do it once, twice, they're going to do it 10 times. When this guy is leaving your office, when he's going to come back next time, there's going to be wounds again. So going forward, how can you allow a Yid to hit his father when Rachmana litzlan he every time he does it he's transgressing the worst isur mak avim and mois yumas.
And there's no mechila, and the father can't say amach you hit me amach.
Can't.
Can't be mechila. You can't be mechila the right.
Right. So.
Maybe he should run away.
Huh?
No, he wants to take care of it.
The
Maybe he
doctor.
should run away.
He
Interesting.
wants to be taken care of.
Wow. Maybe in Israel it's not so tough.
And then they won't be macho his kid.
A second interesting shiloh that came to me 2 weeks ago. Huh? If there's Eidim Asra, Bezdin will put him to death. Yep.
So he says in Keshel Av Hari Am Yisrael.
So you have to realize
What's the
the aim
name?
of this round.
Yeah, the father is
Government,
David.
government.
Yeah. An interesting shiloh.
We're not saying you should go to the police without any warning.
But they did. Somebody has to take care of the father. They have to arrange me.
He says that Rabbi Yasher said, don't worry, loyal on your soul. The Eibishter has ways to take care of people, but you can't let a person be over a Yisr Torah again and again when it's such a Yisr
It's
Chama.
also dangerous to his father.
The guy, but that's like still Masira. Why isn't that Masira?
No.
Well,
It's the whole thing now here with the Rabbanik. Can you tell him I'm a molester, can't you?
yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it's not so pushing.
For a while.
Yeah. Okay. So you
So
know
why
what?
over here is this different?
I hear what you're asking about Masida. I hear what you're asking.
So I want to say you have to.
I have to think. I don't know.
Too.
I hear what you're
It's
asking.
not serious. Some say it's not serious.
I know. I'm just asking.
When the son is bar mitzvah?
Huh? The son was more than bar
That's
mitzvah.
what I'm saying. Before that, it wouldn't-
No, it's for that.
wouldn't
No,
apply.
no, it wouldn't apply. Another interesting shiloh came 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. Someone called me as like, he is the human resources department in the company, and there was a person that they just fired. Now the person's calling up.
Ooh.
Oh, there was hostile environment, and they couldn't work. He says the Maisa. He says a from person. He feels very bad for him. So now his company's nervous that the hostile environment. That they where it's going.
Discrimination.
Otazai. So now another company, a from company, called him up and asked about this person. So he didn't call back yet. He wants to know, could he recommend? It's on the one hand, if this guy gets a job, he's a Baal Mishpach, he's a from person. and it'll be great. And also, he's going to be busy working, and he won't have time to
File a complaint.
file a complaint against my company. Says
What's the other tzad?
the other tzad is that you can't, because you want to not have a thing. You're telling someone buy a cow, and you know that this cow is a nakhan, and or whatever. You're telling him to buy a boat, and you're not letting him.
You tell him this guy made a complaint, he's not
You
hiring.
won't do a good job. You won't do that.
This
Or you're withholding information by not telling him that.
right. You're giving him advice, bad advice. Even you're not looking at the person. That was he didn't ask Lomdus. He just asked me Lamaisa what to do. So I asked him as the person. He says the person was a capable worker. He says doesn't know why. He's been here for a few years, always frustrated, not getting along with the people around him. But he says Lamaisa, he thinks that he's talented in what he's doing. So this is a quick question. This is not a Sheilos. You can start. He wants to call back. Should I call back? Not call back. I told him definitely. I think he should call back and give a warm, good recommendation for the person that he's a great guy and ignore his chesronos. Why?
You can also do it or not?
I'll tell you why I think this, and you might think it's far fetched, but here's a beautiful lumdus from the Rebbe. I started telling him the lumdus, the guy already hung up.
Really?
Yeah, this guy just wanted to know the answer.
Yes or no?
Yeah. So the Rambam says like this. It's this week's Parsha. Kishar Nagachu. The Rambam says, "Sha'olek shutam v'huat bebeis hashoyel." I take from you alone a cow, and now in my shirshus it goes and it does some damages, and there's an edus in the bezin. V'chzira lebalav, when I give it back to you, choyzel tamus, the behemoth becomes a tam again. However, when the shtanis rishusa botla oda v'baylam b'shtatim chatzin nerzik v'shoyel poter shenechzira. So what are we talking about over here? One more line in the Rambam. 2 prakim later, Shor Shahuad v'Nimka. Sure that they said edus against him, and now he was sold. Anita v'matona. Chozba tamusi becomes a tam again. Shor Rishus nishtan is mishan is din. The Rishus is mishan is din. What is that Rambam saying like this? The din is that there's the pasuk says oy noide kishor nagachu mitmoil shil shemaloy shmenen abol shalom mishan. The person who's responsible for his property. So if I own livestock, if I own behemoths, applies not only to behemoths. If I own a ship and a car and a boat, I own. But let's talk now. The Torah is talking about behemoths, so I have to guard them. And if one of my animals goes out and it does damages, I have to pay. But there is the rule is like this. The rule of thumb is I only have to guard for regular things. A behemoth that's walking around is going to eat whatever food is around. So if I didn't guard the behemoth went to ate food, I have to pay. But a regular behemoth does not go and gore people, kill people. So you can't expect that I should know that this behemoth is a nakhan, because it's not a normal thing for a bull to go to be menageach people. It could happen, but it's not a normal thing. So the Torah says that if the Edom come 3 times to Bezdin and say that they saw that this behemoth was nakhan, that he gored, so now it's been proven. It's been proven that this guy, for 3 different occasions it happened, so it's proven that this guy is a dangerous one, and his owner is responsible to guard it even more, and now if he goes and he gores, he has to pay full damages. Tsar, nezek, ripuy, sheves, boishes, he gets a huge bill. He can't say, well, I didn't know, cows don't go kill people. No. It did 3 times, the Edom came, so this is called Asher Mu'id. That's the bottom. I mean, this is a little of a reduction of one of the Babas. So, okay. Now, what happens if you have a cow which is proven to be a nakhan, now you sell it. So the Rambam says, now, like we reset the clock.
A new owner,
reset the clock.
How does
it work?
It's not even a tam. It's not.
It's a tam. No, it's a tam. It's a tam.
it's a clean record.
A tam is you pay. It's only a penalty. You pay chatzi nezek. Chatzi nezek is not even moment. You can't even. This manazeh, you can't even make someone pay it because it's knossos. You need a bezin that smicha. When you pay full damages, that means you're responsible. It's called moment. When you pay a chatzi nezek, that's not even called moment. That's called it's just called a penalty. And that it's a penalty. And a bezin can only make you pay it if they have smicha. No bezin today has smicha. They can't make you pay it. But if a person has to pay full damages, that's called momen. That's not a knas. That means if Bezin sees that Reuven grabs $100 out of Shimon, they make Reuven pay. You can't say, well, you don't have smicha. It doesn't matter if smicha, no smicha. You have to pay. You took the money from Shimon. You have to pay. Same thing here. Anything which is nezek shalom is called momen. It's not knas. You have to pay it. Okay. So the Sheilos Meforshim all ask, why is it that it was proven that this cow gores? So what happens now that you sold it? It became a good boy? So the Rashi and the Meiri both say something slightly differently. The Meiri says these words: Yitzias asher mereshus l'reshus mishana mazol v'tivei. What kind of thing is this? The Rebbe has a murder de kechidush. This is a sikha the Rebbe said. Remember the
his animal has a whole new personality.
Yeah. How does it work? So if you remember, the Rebbe used to go to the car. Yeah. The Rebbe sat with the glasses and the Rambam, and they used to read the Rambam. Rambam to the oil. Yeah, Rambam.
I just saw a picture of it.
Yeah, just last night I was watching a video of it. It's unbelievable. And the Rebbe came back and he used to say a sikha sometimes, and the Rebbe used to talk about that Rambam from that day. So it was Cholam Yitzukis Dov Shem Memches, and the Rebbe was a Rambam Hilchis Niske Moment, and the Rebbe gave a beautiful pshat. The Rebbe said like this: it's a Machloikis Meiri and Rashi. Rashi holds it's a technical thing. Torah says you have to go Eidus and Bezdin. Now it's a new owner. He never heard the Eidus 3 times in Bezdin. We reset the clock. Not that the cow changes, but the law changes. But the Meiri holds that the cow changed.
The nature of the cow.
The nature. How does the nature of the cow changes? The Rebbe brought an ayah from a few halachas. The thing is, there's a concept of muad l'Shabbos, ein muad l'choil. Or muad l'choil, ein muad l'Shabbos. If he was caught goring on Shabbos, but never during the week, we say only Shabbos he's wild. Why? Because Shabbos, they don't make him work, people are dressed fancy, Epes, he gets a little tazuach. Rashi said, Me'esta chol, and me'ver tazuach daite. He becomes a little abalgaiva, this shoyer on Shabbos.
It could be also possible that one owner treats him real rough, the new owner treats him nicely.
Ah! Beautiful.
No,
that was
the day.
shot.
But over here it's the day. The first shot is that it's the day that's treating him nicely.
Right. But
he wakes up on Shabbos and says, I'm Gor on the Rish.
It's exactly it. But now he gets a new owner, and the Rebbe said he treats a new barn, a new owner, a new routine,
new suit for Shabbos.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Exactly. That's what we're going to say. So V'meila, that's what the Rebbe's chidush. So he's a different person. And the Rebbe had a whole pilpul and an afkamina, and the Rebbe said that's why in the Rambam, Lagabi, one thing, he says, Botla Oda. And Lagabi sold, because here it wasn't really that changed, because it was only a shoyel. But when it's sold, he says, a Rishus Mishana Dino. That it's like a new afkamina. No? Anyway, the Rebbe had, in those days, everything Ayron Avodas Hashem. Everything was Ayron Avodas Hashem. So here's the beauty. What's the Ayron Avodas Hashem? The Rebbe says like this: a Jew has a behemoth. Nefesh Bahamas was a shoyer. He's usually a tam. He doesn't. Maybe he'll do taivas heter, a little bit of taivas that are permissible, but not chas v'sholem avedis that the Eibusha says not to do. Kishor nagach that a yid won't do. However, the Yitzhahara can get a yid to do aveda once. Shona nasake heter. He thinks it's already. The Gemara says the Yitzhahara gets a person to do it a few times. And then the first time he feels bad about it. The second time he sins, he still feels a little bad. And then, if it becomes heter. So how do you rehabilitate a cow? So really, the Gemara says you have to rehabilitate him slowly until you could take children into the barn and they're playing with the ox, and he's friendly with the children. Now, who will agree to let their children in the barn? I'm not sure.
But not someone that went to Oxford.
That's a brave parent.
So yeah, exactly. But that's the way it has to be. So obviously, it's a very slow process. So it says the Rebbe like this: there is a person starts learning Musar, maybe he's learning Chassidus, and he starts purifying his midas, and then he becomes a new person.
At least behemoth.
Always behemoth. However, it's a long process. There is a chidush here, says the Rebbe. Sometimes a person doesn't have that much time to change himself. So he throws himself into a new reshus. And a new reshus, it's Mishana is din. Well, how does that happen? So the Rebbe says, for example, a person starts learning Torah with such a chayis that yom v'layla, or he throws himself into avodas hashlichus, He throws himself into avodah vaskonas siburis. He throws himself into a certain avodah Hashem that he consumes his entire day. There's no time left. So then the person could become a new person. And with Bazagufa, like the difference of Meidi and Ashi, could be just while he's busy. He's different. The Meidi says, no, he's really Mishana's Mazel as Tiva. His Teva changes. It could be a person throws himself into his avodah of Atzkonis, of helping other Yidden, or the avodah Hashem of Lumen Torah, to the extent that even though naturally he's not a good person, but when he throws himself into his new project, it becomes a new person. So the emissaries that were standing by the chuppah were waiting for the chosn talmud the other day. There was a shliach, Choshev shliach, who came for the chasna, and he was telling me that he feels, he says he feels that he's a different person when he's in shlichus. He says he comes to Crown Heights, people talk about politics. He says he goes. No, never happens.
That's where
he says, but he says he goes when he's busy in a shlichus. It's a different world. He says Asherinu Maltech Lokeinu. The Rebbe made us busy, made us so busy, gave us so much work. And busy. We're different type of people. He's a shliach. He's a shliach in Florida. He's busy. There's no time for this or that. He says, if I lived in Crown Heights, like you'd get involved with this and that, small petty, arguments or politics. This is what this shliach felt. And now he says, Baruch Hashem, the Rebbe sent him on a shlichus. He's busy helping people, putting on film and kashing kitchen, and he had no time for these stuff. So that's what the Rebbe said. When you throw yourself into a project, or sometimes a person has to change his muad, his Shoyda Bahamas, slowly. That's also a thing that we need to do. But when you can also throw yourself into a project, and B'meila, that can be Mishana Mazla V'tivah. So I was saying that a person that he's a frum yid, and he's talented in what he's doing, but he couldn't get along with the people around him. But now he's Mishana Rishus. So Mishana Mazla V'tivah. It's not that he doesn't know what he's doing. He says that he's very talented, but for some reason he didn't get along with the people around him. But maybe in the new company they'll treat him differently. They'll give him better recognition. Maybe from day one he brought every idea he brought up was rejected. So he didn't feel in his element. But Lamaisa, he's a talented person. Just didn't get along.
Yeah,
so
maybe the answer should come from this halacha.
So
he wasn't a mood, this guy. He wasn't a
So you told me.
I gave my friend somebody that works for me, and they're doing amazing. But me, it was terrible.
yeah. So you see. So you see.
So you told him
Yeah, should give him a warm. Okay, you know what? Let's stop by this, and we'll continue Mitzvah Shem next week.